exactly that. So
Yeah.
that's one of the things I picked up. But going back to what you said about Mourinho, I think the other thing that that came across, and I think we kind of discussed this as well, but was the pressing thing that he spoke about. He speaks about the pressing. He spoke about it in episode 4. He speaks about it in other games.
Yeah.
He said we need to press. If we press, we control the space. Press high. And if you said basically saying if we press high, we can control the space behind. So he's giving them the detail to press and why and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then they go on the pitch and they go, well, I don't think I want to press.
Yeah.
I
Which is odd, really, because they did under Pochettino to start with, didn't they? It was.
They did, and then they stopped. So
yeah.
And maybe they lost confidence in that.
Or are some of them a little bit afraid of making a mistake?
Well, yeah, maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
Did you hear that, Was?
I didn't hear that. Sorry, my headphone fell out.
I just said, he's telling them to press, and we don't appear to press. Are some of them maybe too afraid to press in case they make a mistake and leave a gap behind them and expose some space on? It's bizarre. He's continually saying press. If you lose the ball, don't dwell on it. Don't be disappointed with yourself. Forget about it and get the ball back. But they're not doing that.
Yeah.
But that's, it's such simple messages. Those are such simple, like that stuff about don't dwell on mistakes, is messages that even at my level, we're telling the don't dwell on it. If you make a mistake, don't dwell on it. If you do a fantastic pass, don't stand back and admire your pass.
Admire it, yeah.
The game still carries on, and you can't afford to, it's just interesting stuff.
It's a bit like telling your kids not to leave their clothes in the bathroom after they've had a shower, but they still keep doing it. The message doesn't go in.
So it's fascinating, interesting that you said that. So you Jay, you try to think of yourself as the analogy king, and I did pick up on the fact that Mourinho out analogied you, really. A basic analogy that made a lot of sense.
He's paid more than me to think about that, so...
Well, exactly. Horses for courses, mate. Understand that, this was the level of his analogy. Did you get the analogy that he did about the blankets? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He was talking about a blanket, and he said, it's like I've got a blanket, and if I pull it up and to try and to protect my chest and my feet are exposed, and pull it down to protect my feet and my chest is exposed, and that's how it is dealing with injuries for the
I totally got that. Yeah, that was quite a good analogy.
It was a good analogy, and it was great. Andy, did you not think it was great to actually hear a good analogy for once? Rather than having to put up with the took that we have to put up with from Jamie.
Well, not just Jamie, actually, because to be fair, Jamie, your analogies are a bit weird, but but Pochettino as well, with his cows and trains analogy, whatever the hell that was. At least with Mourinho, you can understand what he's saying. Pochettino was just like a bloody riddle. I didn't know what was going on.
It's funny.
Go on.
It's funny you should mention about cows, because one I like in particular when you're talking about strikers, if they can't score a goal. Not necessarily an analogy, but he couldn't get the cow's arse with a banjo, which is one of my all-time favourites. But I don't know what the origin of that is, but
because I assume that's quite easy, really, hitting a cow's arse with a banjo, isn't it?
I think that's probably the point, isn't it?
I think it's probably not
exactly.
as easy as you think.
But who the hell's ever done that?
Who'd want to hit a cow's arse with a banjo?
Yeah, I'm sure
and miss.
It's frowned upon. It's frowned upon, surely.
It was whoever made up the saying was the person that tried to do it, and obviously found out it wasn't as easy as they thought it would be.
Yeah.
Anyway,
let's move on.
So moving on. So you then from episode 4, we move into episode 5, and that was kind of focused on. They called it New Blood, and that was around the new signings. So you had Gedson, Bergwijn coming in. You also had the introduction of our pantomime villain, Steve Hitch-en, who is now more unpopular
than Daniel Levy. Hitch-en out.
Like, there was someone actually. There was someone on Twitter earlier, and we'll talk about this guy as well. But there was someone on Twitter earlier that said, like, with Danny Rose and his mental health issues and all the stuff that he's suffered in the past, that he was surprised that he authorised, or if he didn't try to stop that that piece of film going out, and that Daniel Levy and all that didn't put a stop to that, knowing the sort of the stuff that he'd been through in the past. So it one like we will talk about that. We will talk about Daniel Rose in a minute, but I wonder if Daniel Levy, seeing that clip of Steve Hitch-en, thought, fucking hell, this is an opportunity, right, to get all of these people off my back and find someone else to be the focus of Twitter hate.
Oh, do you think?
Like, for the next.
Thing is, though, I didn't think Steve Hitch-en said anything particularly bad.
Nor did I.
No.
To be honest,
I mean, to say that the January transfer window is a pain in the arse, I think all managers say that, don't they? Unless they actually want to buy.
No, exactly. It's been said for ages, as far as I know. It's always been. It's always been a problem. It's if you're a smaller club doing well, your players could be cherry picked.
Yeah,
it's a problem for all sorts of reasons.
Yeah,
really,
it's
it's
a short window for a start.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and it's got you've got people coming to the end of their contracts and everything like that, and then they might need to leave. And the club might make that decision above your head, and not just at Spurs, but any club. That they might make that decision above your head to say, right, well, actually, we need to take the opportunity to get some money back. My only concern would be, and they did kind of allude to this at the time in the show as well, was that it didn't give any evidence of planning. We've said through episode 4 and previous episodes that we know that we need a striker.
Yeah,
the club know that we need a striker.
Yeah.
So why are we not planning from even the bloody Sky Sports and all of them horrible shows that we moan about?
Yeah.
As soon as the transfer window shuts in the summer, they're already talking about the January transfer window, targets for the January transfer window. So why are we not planning immediately for those targets? We should be planning for those targets. You negotiate those targets. You don't even have to. You don't start negotiating in January. You negotiate those targets to come into play in January. So that was my only concern in terms. Like, January is a horrible window, and I agree with what Hitch-en says, but I just felt that he scored an own goal by kind of saying, well, we only start talking about, the way he put it across, we only start thinking about this in January, where if Kane, because Kane got injured, now we need to buy.
Well, I think that's probably the reason why he said it. Yeah, because it becomes that panic window on that basis. But obviously, the Steven Bergwijn transfer that they did show, that was planned for ages, because to actually do that deal so smoothly, it was obviously done over a period of time.
They were exactly. And they were following him for a while, and I mean, I can't remember if they said specifically the clubs that were interested in Bergwijn, but they said he was a young, hot talent that was being followed by big clubs across Europe. So I don't buy into this bollocks about Hitch-en's demeanour not being correct for the team. I
don't think you can judge it, can you?
For video, and that affects that will affect transfers and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Otherwise, we wouldn't have got Bergwijn over the line. But Jake, been a bit quiet on this. Go on.
But the thing is, though, there's only so much Hitch-en can say on a documentary about the way they work with their transfer policies. It's not going to say, well, as soon as the summer window shuts, we're off looking and we're talking to teams, we're scouting players, we're doing this, we're doing that.
Yeah.
You don't get the likes of Deborah Meaden on Dragon's Den going on Dragon's Den and telling everyone.
I disagree. Why can't he say that? Because he's not going to say. He's not giving an indication as to the scouting network. Like, we have scouts that's part of the club. The club have scouts, so those scouts don't work between July and September and January. 1st of January to the 31st of January. Those
Yeah, I know.
Every club employs scouts, so it's not a secret. So he can say that we are, obviously our scouting network is looking at players, and we have a dossier of players that we keep.
Yeah,
keep an
it's
eye
a good
on.
point.
There's nothing to stop him saying that. You don't name players. It's not going to say, well, we were looking at Bergwijn from May. Don't give names. You can't give names. That's disrespectful. But you can. I don't see that we can't say that we've not been looking at.
I suppose the thing is, poker players don't show their cards to everyone else sat around the table, do they? You keep your cards tight to your chest, and any slippage of it, that much of information that gets out there.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's important that they do keep it quiet. Yeah,
less is more from the club's perspective.
But I do agree that piece was a bit weird in the sense that they just didn't explain a bit more about the coaching structure and the process. But yes, maybe they just didn't want to reveal it. I don't know.
The thing is, at one point he did make is that he said, I can't remember. No, it was Hitch-en that said it, that Jose wants a particular type of striker.
That's right, yeah.
And with all these transfers, you've got 3 parties involved, which makes things very difficult. You've got the team that he plays for, then you've got the agent that have got their own agenda. And then the third factor is, does the player even want to play with you? Play for you.
Cut.
So, once you get over the hurdle of the team, if the team want to sell, then you've got the agent that's there brokering the best deal for that player all over the world.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But we also have, the major plus point and the pulling point of Mourinho. Mourinho is meant to be a massive pulling, like a selling point for the club.
Yeah.
To bring players in. So it's I don't know. I do feel in this instance is that they haven't probably covered themselves in glory in how this has actually been portrayed visually on the show, in terms of what they've tried to explain, because I think certainly for the areas that they've been trying to replace, we've not adequately done it for a number of seasons. So, how difficult, how high are we aiming? How high?
Well, this is the question, I suppose, and I guess we're going to find out in this window, aren't we?
Yeah. But the thing is, one thing I will add, if you want to find out a bit more about Steve Hitch-en and what he's up to and this and that, he's actually got a Twitter account now. And yesterday afternoon, he tweeted, "Has anyone got Troy Parrott's number? It's a matter of urgency."
This account before it started tweeting, there was a big one of the big Spurs accounts, right, who talks a lot about transfers and all of this sort of stuff, and he saw the account, he went, "Steve Hitchen's on Twitter."
Oh my God! Really?
And I thought that okay, surely you can't have bought into that. He just suddenly came onto Twitter the day after episode, these All or Nothing has been released, and he's come under a shitload of abuse. Hey, here I am.
That's right.
Come and abuse me directly. You know what I mean?
But the first tweet was new to Twitter, be gentle, and the second one was any strikers available ASAP. DM me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
No, it is. I mean, I do actually feel I might follow the account for the comedy value. To be honest. I think, certainly, whoever's running that account has got the has got the measure of what is required, or what what is perceived to be the shortcomings. So yeah,
it's Daniel Levy. Daniel Levy's running it.
Probably.
Just to divert all the crap. Yeah.
I don't want this shit on me anymore.
Which episode was it that Daniel Levy said that he reads all the emails? Was it in one of those 3? Because someone actually earlier has tweeted that the tweet was just, "I've emailed Daniel Levy," with emoji with sunglasses. Like Levy said he just reads the emails. you ain't gonna do shit about what you've written in the email. So, oh shit. Well, actually, this guy has just contacted me and said that we need to buy a striker. I hadn't thought of that. So